We're gonna pick up one of my favorite bikes in the world. It's something that's been on my hit list for a while. And that list is really short. At number 7, at least 3 hours away, we just drove like 3 hours across state lines to come and meet Chris in New York. Not the bad New York, the good New York. Sitting at least 20 years in a shed. It's been in the shed for how long?
25 years probably.
Mouse colony, sleeping in the airbox, peeing in the carburetor.
The problem was the mice got to the carburetor, built their little nest in there, and then...
Two owner, bought from a friend of a friend. You bought it from a friend's buddy who bought it new.
Right.
So you're second owner.
I am the second owner.
1986 Kawasaki KDX 200.
This is all the stuff, what's left of the airbox and cleaner and stuff.
So let's take a quick look here. It is so complete. Like, you never see these bikes this complete. You get the tool pouch and the light, both side panels, the headlight, the hand guards. Oh boy. Chris, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Yo, all jokes aside, like seriously, this bike has been on my hit list for a while. And there's a couple reasons that I wanted this specific bike. I'll go over that as we get going. But let's see what we have here. Front tire's actually new. He said he replaced the tire when he went to get it fired up again after sitting for a number of years. That tire was all shot, so he got a new tire. I think pinched the tube getting it put on and got frustrated with it. But I got new tires to put on, front and rear, fresh tubes so that those are all set to go. Our brake rotor is pretty rusty. We're getting corrosion. That might clean up a little bit on the wheels. Hubs are pretty corroded. Who knows, fork seals are probably shot, I'm sure. But man, dude, the plastic, we got some scuffing here and here. It has the handguard on it. They're cracked, but they're still there and they look awesome. Seat is beautiful. Toolbox, side panels, bent foot peg. I guess the original owner laid it down on this right side and then he didn't want to ride it anymore. This thing is fantastic. Chain's rusty. There's hardly any wear on the case covers. It's just all corrosion from sitting. We have a crack in the front fender, but that's okay. That's...
How much is that crack in the fender going to affect aerodynamics?
Yeah, pretty huge. It's you'll probably notice on the test ride, I'm not gonna really wheelie it, and it's because of that. Okay, so we did get a box of parts along with it. Air filter cage, airbox, all that stuff. Oh, these are breathers. I wonder if these are airbox breathers. It's an aftermarket hop-up kit, and you drill the holes in your airbox and then put these in, and it would allow it to breathe more. Get all them horsepowers. Ooh, we got the manual. We got the manual with it. Nice. And the carburetor. Remember when I said about the mice living in the airbox and peeing in the carburetor? That's exactly what they were doing. Oh, this is nasty, dude. Let's like get this shot so I can get this thing clean. I can taste it. I think what they were doing is, this here was their potty, and everything is just full of mouse urine. The slide is completely stuck. So actually what he ended up doing was just cutting the throttle cable to get the carb off the bike so that he could start working on the carburetor. It's so bad. We accomplished the first couple steps of this project. One was getting the bike, and then the second one was washing the bike. Okay, well that thing is gross. I'm gonna get that soaking, and while that's soaking, I'm gonna start putting on tires and tubes and a chain and get some of that stuff. Oh, I can still smell it. And get some of that stuff buttoned up while this carburetor is disinfecting. So,
Greg, you put tires on.
I did. We got some fresh sneakers on. Time for a chain. Man, I am loving this bike.
It hasn't done anything yet.
I know, but this is what dreams are made of, man.
You just like it because you've been working on the Geico bike for too long.
That is true. I would much rather work on an old dirt bike than that Geico bike. Remember, master link pin. Drop it once or twice before you put it on the bike.
For like good luck or something?
Yep, master link pin. Closed end is always towards the direction of travel. So the rear wheel goes this way. So you want your closed end going the way the chain goes. just like that. Let's see what pieces we have here. Look at that, that's not good. I'm gonna have to find one of these to replace that at some point. And then those carb pieces. Okay, so I've had the carburetor soaking and buzzing in here for quite a while. It's done a good job of cleaning things out, loosening up all that mouse stuff. Okay, so the problem we're having here is the slide's stuck inside the carb body. So I'm hoping with it being in the hot dip tank for a while and cycling through, I'm gonna be able to get that free. Put a little juice in there. That's soak around, step one. Wow, you gotta be so careful here, so careful. We're gonna get a little more aggressive. Gonna skip step one, which is a heat gun, and go right to step 4, which is the torch. Smart guy would have grabbed gloves, Dan. Oh. Oh my word, that thing is tight. It's cooking.
I like hearing that. Ooh, oh.
Oh, that's how you know it's hot enough. We're at the point where this thing's gonna break before it moves.
Can you like soak some PB in there and do something else while it's PBing?
Let's do that. Okay, so we'll let that soak. Let's get this stuff here cleaned up and assembled. This is all of our Airbox pieces. This is where the mice were living. Dan, to the sink. Okay. Unfortunately, this air boot is torn, so I'm gonna have to find a replacement air boot. But we're probably gonna have some other air leaks with this bike too, because it's been sitting so long. So I imagine the crank seals are shot, and they're gonna have to be replaced. But that's okay, because that's just part of it.
Just duct tape it up, it'll run.
Just duct tape it up. Sweetness. Okay, next, air filter. So always wear gloves when you're oiling air filters.
You should.
You should.
Not Craig, just you. Do as Craig say, not as Craig do.
That's right. Okay, so this is gonna go in here. I need to get these standoffs through this hole. Like this, and then this one like this, and then it'll fit just fine. There it is. Okay, there we go.
Such a pretty colorful air filter.
It is.
Too bad no one's gonna see it,
Yeah,
but at least you'll know
I'll know.
that the dirt bike is pretty on the inside too.
Put it like this. And that gets screwed in there. And that's gonna get screwed in there. Now let's get that Airbox on and bolted up. Oh, we got a lot of corrosion here on top of the engine cases. And that's just because of all that mouse pee and stuff kind of coming down and sitting in there. That's a bummer. Intake, we're pulling this. See how this intake boot is all cracked? All over there, see that? Yeah. So we're gonna pull that off. Here, Dan, how about I do this?
What? Oh, take the seat off?
Did that help? How about that? Does that help?
Are you mocking me, Craig?
No. Just want to make sure you have the best light possible to make the best video possible. There's a little debris in there. Yeah, we don't want that going into our engine. Don't tell my wife I know how to work one of these either. And I found a guy that is reproducing these air boots, these intake boots. So this is an 86, which would be first year for the second gen. I believe they started the KDX 200 in 1983. It ran 83, 84, 85. And you can tell if you have a first gen, that would be like a KDX 200A, KDX 200B, because you're gonna have different forks. You're gonna have a smaller fork, but then you're also gonna have front and rear drum brake instead of front disc rear drum. And then you go to the second gen, which is this bike, was 1986, 1987, 1988. So it was a 3-year run, and they changed to the 43 mil forks, disc brake on the front. This was the first year for the Kips power valve system. It also has a new rear shock for 86. So all in all, this here is kind of in the sweet spot, at least for me, as far as vintage goes and vintage racing. It's a great bike. If we go to the next gen, the Gen 3, they have front and rear disc, and that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for one of these with rear drum. So that's why I was happy to find an 86. When I'm collecting bikes, for whatever reason, I like even-yeared bikes. I don't like odd-year bikes. So this one here fit the bill nicely. Another thing, this was the second gen's stayed air-cooled, but once you went to the third gen in 89, they went water-cooled. So that was a big difference. But yeah, so this one here is right here in the sweet spot. And that's gonna go just like that. Okay, so now I got good news and bad news.
What's the good news?
Airbox, all this stuff's done.
What's the bad news?
Carburetor is up next.
We got no choice. We can't keep putting it off.
We can't keep putting it off. When in doubt, add more heat.
Burn it out.
When in doubt, burn it out, he says. Definitely want your carburetors going snap, crackle, pops.
Yep.
This is a one stuck carburetor.
You saying it's gonna get broke or replaced?
I'm saying that's where this is headed. It's gonna be one or the two. It's gonna break, man. Okay, we'll just let that penetrate and marinate.
Let that PB blast away.
I wonder if I get a little heat on this side, if it'll help get that PB in, get it boiling. Get that sizzling.
Ooh, that's a nice little sizzle going on in there.
So here's where I'm at. If I can get this apart without breaking it, and that's a big if right here at the moment, there's still a lot of damage done inside this carburetor. Would these be mice from over the pond?
Why would they be?
Because they were European. Went for lunch. While we were at lunch, we left this soak. Wow, that's still good and warm. Jeez, crime and nitlies. Here's where we're at, Dan. We're gonna do whatever we have to try to get this unstuck, and that means it may break. But that's just the way it is. It's already not working, right? Sounds like I'm just gonna break the carb body.
Only one way to find out.
Yep. Something's doing something. I'm not sure what. What's crunching?
That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah, it might have moved a little. I couldn't get a screwdriver in there before. Looks like maybe now I can. This is without a doubt the most stuck slide I've ever had in a carburetor. Hands down, not up, hands down. Okay, well, we're just gonna keep going. That's when it breaks. It hits the floor and just shatters. Wow, that's hot. So hot it melted my soft jaws.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's what you don't want.
It's moving. It is finally moving. We're still not out of the woods.
Craig, you keep heating that thing up. It's going to be embedded into your vise.
No. We got flames, we got fires, all sorts of stuff here.
That's what makes a good bearded mechanic episode.
That's right. Flames and fire. Jeez.
Oh, I see junk coming out the bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know if it's good or bad. It was like, it looked black, so.
Okay, well, it's kind of moving.
That sounds a lot better than, well, it sounds like more than before.
It doesn't sound great. I don't know if I'd say better. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Oh, ah, there it goes.
Did you break it?
Yeah, right there. So I should be able to tap that back together, and if I can get this slide to move, I can make that work. I tell you what, Dan, this one's making us work for it. That is just absolute carnage in there. It is just, I mean, look at all that goo.
That's some tasty goo in there, right? Uh-oh, Craig, don't get clumsy now.
This is escalating quickly. If leverage is working and then it stops working, my brain, oh man, it's making my eyes water. My brain's telling me more leverage.
If it's making your eyes water, that probably means it's good to inhale it.
Oh, look at that, choke lever still works. I mean, obviously what we need is more heat. Man, I feel like we are so close.
Come on, Craig. We've gotten 2 different engines unseized.
Right, I can't even get this stupid carburetor.
No, we can get this carburetor unseized. That was the point I was trying to make.
That's what this party needs, more leverage sticks. There we got some decent movement.
Ooh.
Still got some ways to go.
Dadgum, how has it moved that far and it's not unstuck?
I know, right? I'm bringing it up to German temperature.
Guten hot.
Guten hot. That's what all the kids are saying these days. You know what we need? A 4th pry bar. Because if
3 are good.
3 are working, 4 would work even better, right? There we go. Wow. Okay, so now we got it up that high.
Well, now it's just stuck there.
And now it is just stuck there.
It just fell out. What was that?
That piece broke off that I cracked.
Oh. Nice.
Nice. We got so close to.
I mean, you can't just like weld it back on.
Can, but where do you stop? Man, this is without a doubt. And I probably unstuck, I don't know, 30 or 40 carbs at least in my life. That's a shame. And I had it sitting and soaking for a few days. You know what we might need? We might need to go steal the carb off the IT.
Doesn't it need it?
Can only ride one bike at a time.
It's true. You can just keep swapping the carbs.
Yeah, that's easy. To the IT.
Got one that'll work?
I think we're gonna be able to make 1 out of 1.5. All right, let's find the throttle cable. We need a new throttle cable because the old throttle cable was cut to get the carburetor off. So what's gonna happen here is we have this style end, and that's not gonna jive with the carburetor I just robbed off the ITs. All right, so we gotta figure out how we can do a throttle cable. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put this all together, and then I'm gonna have too much inner cable because I'm omitting this piece here because the cable comes in through there and then that other piece screws onto here and the cable goes into there. But since this isn't working, this cap will not fit this carburetor. Although I wish it would. You know what? It's not perfect, but I'm gonna just see if I can make that work. Okay. So now when I put the spring on, the throttle cable's like right at the edge of the spring. If you remember before, it was like this. So that's better. Let's set the bike down. We're gonna pull the old cable off. We're gonna run the new cable and we're gonna throw this carburetor on. You know what I didn't see in the box of parts?
What didn't you see?
I didn't see the cap for this. There should be a cap that goes on top of here. Like a cap that goes on here, is held on with these screws. That's a bummer. That's gonna be a piece we'll never find. All right, well, when was the last time we used this carburetor? Do I need to clean the jets? Or do we just put it in and hope it works?
I think you just slap it in, hope it works.
Okay.
It hasn't been that long.
I have to remember this lid doesn't get tight. It's just kind of just gonna be close. This is a left side idle carb. So my idle adjustment, everything is right behind the airbox. There's zero way I'm gonna get to it.
Nice. Well, better adjust it right the first time. Yeah.
We're gonna roll with it.
Yeah. This is a get it running video, not get the idle adjusted video.
Just really goes to show how hard mouse pee can be on a bike. There we go. Just needed a little, oh, is that what they call it? PB blaster. PB gone.
PB gone. PB blasted.
I need to find a cap for on there. That's pretty important because without that cap, throttle isn't gonna work.
Why is the cap important?
Well, because it holds the throttle cable in.
Oh. Ooh.
All these other YouTube channels like got their act together and they like get a bike like this and then they order every single exact part that they need. And here I am duct taping my throttle cable thing in because I'm missing a cap for the.
Ain't stupid if it works.
That's right. Okay, so here we go, Dan. Dan, here we go.
Here we go, Craig.
Still has oil in it.
Oh, then it's good.
Then it's good.
We don't need to touch that.
We're gonna be like, you didn't even check the oil. Look, I'm checking it right now. It's got a sight glass.
We looked at it.
My guess here, this thing is gonna run super lean because of my carbs still a little loose in that air boot. You know, we haven't checked for spark. We didn't do a compression test, but we know it's free. Yeah, we're batting 1,000 here.
I mean, do you perceive any spark issues?
Nah, ship shape.
Shape is a ship.
Ship shape. Such a good looking bike. All right, what's next, Dan? Side shield, let's put that back on. Okay, so we need a tank and fuel line. Oh man, I love this seat, dude. Love the colors. Blue is fantastic. Looks like the petcock turns, that's a good sign. Cut that fuel line, put that on there. Okay, we got throttle action. Hopefully that duct tape holds and we don't die. Okay. I just smile when I look at this bike. I really, really like this bike. Glug, 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 glug. Not having this throttle cover is gonna be not fun.
Was it poking through?
No, it just kept popping out. It wasn't working. Okay, well, it's what it's gonna be for right now. Yep, there it goes. Choke on, gas on. All right. We struck out fixing that carburetor. Slide was stuck. So we robbed one off of another bike, threw it on here. It's not perfect, but it's close. This thing has been sitting in the shed for 25 years. How many kicks?
25.
2, 3. I have throttle. I don't. 2, 3.
That's 7.
Why don't you like me, Dan?
We had to count the first 5.
Takes too many more kicks. I'm gonna have to put my boots on. And that's what happens when a two-stroke runs away. Look, come here. Look.
Oh, oh, okay.
And it was still running. I couldn't kill the intake. And when I pulled this and it was still running, kill switch didn't work. Next thing was I pulled the spark plug wire. That didn't shut it down. So I just covered the exhaust and it snuffed itself out. But there you have it. That took us like 12 kicks.
14.
Took us like 14 kicks. That's a dozen plus 2. Whew! Wow, that was pretty exciting and didn't really go as planned. And I'm still shaking a little bit. But it's the end of the day. We're gonna call it for the night. Hit it in the morning. We'll be back. I don't know what's going on, but I got a weird text from Greg last night.
Was he working on the bike?
Apparently, I got this text and it just said, you're good to go now. I have no idea what that means. Oh. Now I know what it means. That stinker. He put a different carb on it. That's the exact carburetor we needed. Oh, it looks like he cleaned the carb. Hold on, what did his text say? Yo, dude, you're good to go now. I cleaned and put that carburetor on, sealed up the airbox better, changed the oil, and checked spark plug. Oh, and I got that throttle cable issue kind of worked out. Don't forget to order those parts. Oh yeah, I can't forget to order those parts.
Don't forget to order those parts, Craig.
That's right.
So he fixed the bike overnight.
Apparently, it's looking good.
Wait, where did he get the carb from?
That was a text from Greg. He said, stop asking questions, Dan.
Aren't you curious where the carb came from?
Sometimes you just don't ask questions, Dan.
Okay.
So let's recap where we are. Last night before we left, this bike went zing, pulled spark plug and it was still going zing. So covered the exhaust and shut her down. Looks like he's got everything situated here. Idle screw is out all the way, so we're gonna have to I'm gonna work into that. What do we got here for choke? Choke on, fuel on. I don't know, I kind of trust this Greg guy, so now that we have the carburetor in it, that should be in it. I'm excited. Thank you to my buddy that had one. All jokes aside, appreciate it. How many kicks, Dan? How many kicks, Dan?
Well, it was already running once, so
Oh.
hopefully like 4.
Well, way to make that not fun for me.
3 kicks or I'm disappointed.
Here we go.
Oh, come on, come on. Oh.
Trying to find a sweet spot here with the throttle and the idle and the...
Too late. I'm already disappointed. In you, not the bike.
That's how it should run. What a fantastic little bike. Man, I love it. Still smells a little bit like mouse pee, just blowing that all out. Oh, what a fantastic machine, Kawasaki. There you go, man. I was lucky enough to find a survivor. This thing is a beautiful bike, sitting for 25 years, and we got super lucky finding a carburetor without having to go buy a new replacement. I am actually over the moon ecstatic. I love this thing. Thanks for watching. That was a whole lot of fun. Have a great weekend. Dan's gonna put a video here and here. Check them out. I know you're gonna love them. See you later.